Well, thank you for inviting me, Claude. I'm very happy to be here. There were some problems with the trains, but eventually I made it here. And I'm very happy to be here with you here tonight at this first Conférence of the repair cafes in the north of France. So it's my pleasure here to tell you something about the origins of Repair Café and about how it became a worldwide movement. And also I'd like to tell you something about our work at the Repair Café Foundation and about our plans for the future. So this is a situation that you will probably recognize. It's a Repair Café meeting, and this is a picture from the Netherlands in the city of Nieuwegein. But this picture shows what Repair Café is all about. It's about repairing, but it's also about meeting new people and creating new contacts, and also achieving something together, solving a problem together, and having fun. Now, as you know, the Repair Café addresses a problem that many people in the Western world will recognize, that things break, and when they do, many people don't know what to do. People have no skills, they haven't learned about repairing, they have no tools, and they have no time to focus on the subject. But at the same time, in all communities there are still some people who do have the tools and the time and the skills. And in many cases these people, they are so fond of repairing, they really like to repair, so they are more than happy to help other people who are less handy. So it's no more than logical, in fact, to bring these two groups of people together, the people with the repair skills and the people with the broken object. So the repairers bring their tools, the visitors bring the broken items, and they connect, they sit together at the table, and they try to solve the problem together. I thought up this concept 9 years ago because I found it shocking how many products were thrown away every day. Products that, in my opinion, products that people throw away, they are not waste, they just need to be fixed. And now the answer is because the economy stimulates this kind of behavior. For new products are available everywhere and they're not expensive at all. So in many cases it's cheaper to buy a new object than to have the old object repaired. Now from an economic point of view that makes sense, but in fact it's not sustainable at all. So this is, in fact, it's crazy. For in this way we throw away products far too soon and we use way too much of the natural resources that are present in the world. And also we use a lot of energy to produce new items, which causes huge amounts of CO2 to be emitted. And the CO2 emissions, they cause climate change. So I thought, I want to change this. I want to make repair attractive once more. So this is what people often think about repair. I have translated this slide, so maybe it speaks for itself. People think that repair is difficult. You cannot find a repair guy. If you find one, he is very expensive. And also repair is dirty and noisy and it's boring. So repair is not so positive in many people's minds. Now my own experience is very different. My experience is that repairing is not so hard in many cases. In many cases it's simple and it can be fun when you do it together with a person who knows how to do it. And if this person is a volunteer, then it's not so expensive as well. So I started thinking about this idea and I talked about it with many people and I decided to test the concept in practice once. So I rented a room in this building in Amsterdam, which was a theater at the time. And I asked around in my network, I talked to friends and I talked to craftsmen from the neighborhood, and I told them about the idea and I asked them if they would like to give it a try, if they would like to help. So, and I collected tools and I wrote a press release and I sent it to the media, and I set everything up on the 18th of October 2009, and when everything was ready I just hoped for the best. And I had no idea if people were going to show up. I could also imagine that no one was going to come. But half an hour before the Repair Café was going to open, people came around the corner carrying heavy bags, and they asked if they had come to the Repair Café, if this was the place where they were heading. So it turned out to be a success, and that's how it began. And that very first day we had one seamstress, a woman who was helping with textiles, and we had a carpenter who was doing woodwork. We had 2 bicycle repairers, and we had some guys from a computer club, and we had only one person, the guy here on the left, who was repairing electrical appliances. But this turned out to be the success of the Repair Café. People were queuing for him all day. So he had no time to take a break all day because there was so much for him to do. But he's a real fanatic too, so he didn't want to take a break at all. And he repaired video players and toasters and kettles and radios and sewing machines and electrical toothbrushes, etc. And lamps, and everyone was so happy for that day. The atmosphere was really special. People were happy and grateful for the help that they had received. And at the end they asked me, is this going to be here every week, or can I come back next Sunday? And in fact it was only to test, so it was a one-time event. But at that moment I understood that this was something that I had to go on with. So after the first meeting, people started to phone me and send me messages and to ask me if we couldn't have coffee sometime, and if I couldn't tell them how they could organize something like this in their own community. And there were so many people asking me this that I couldn't possibly have coffee with all of them. So for me, the challenge was to find a way that I could advise more people at the same time to do this, so that the idea could spread around. So I wrote a manual which guides you through all the steps of organizing your own Repair Café. And maybe this, I translated this slide as well. So it's about, it tells you about how to find volunteers. So about finding a location, how to collect tools, how to provide a safe working environment, etc. D'accord. Gradually, this manual developed into a starter kit containing lots of different documents, and it contains posters that you can hang up in the Repair Café, and registration forms, and all kinds of documents too. And that was almost 9 years ago. At this moment, the starter kit is available on the website in 7 languages, and it can be ordered from all over the world. So the starter kit is digital, so you can download it, you can print it, and you can use it to set up your own Repair Café. And many of you have ordered the kit and have used it to set up your Repair Café, and that makes me very happy. And you're not alone. At this moment there are 1,563 Repair Cafés in the world, spread over 33 countries. Most of them are in the Netherlands and in neighboring countries, Belgium, Germany, France. And this is is this visible at all?
Oh, yeah.
Can you distinguish France at all?
Oh, Frankrijk is France.
Well, hello, this is France. You can see that this is the dissemination of Repair Cafés in your country. And in France there are approximately 200 initiatives now, so that's a lot, but there is still room for many, many more. And also in this region, this is not very well visible, but this is supposed to be the north of France. So you see that there are still some empty spots which could be filled with new repair cafes. And there's also lots of repair cafes in other parts of the world. Like in the United States, the number of repair cafes there has grown very quickly over the last year, and we hope that in the United States they will continue being thrilled about the repair cafe and starting new ones. A year ago there was, it really started to catch on in the US. And the same in other parts of the world. That's Australia up there. This is supposed to be Japan, where there are 5 repair cafes, and there is one in China. And that's how it usually happens, that there are some groups starting in a country and they hopefully inspire new groups so that the concept starts to grow. And I am still amazed at how many people are enthusiastic about this and want to get going with the repair cafe themselves. And on the other hand, I also understand why people like it, because at the repair cafe is not only a useful activity, it is also fun. So at the repair cafe there is always, the atmosphere is always good, there is always something to do, something to talk about, people come in with the funniest objects, so there is enough possibility to have a chat. And it's a connecting activity, trying to solve a repair problem together, and repairers trying to help each other. And it also connects people of different ages and different cultures, and it can work everywhere. This, for example, is a repair cafe in Ghana. It was set up by a guy who is involved with a repair cafe in the UK, and he had to go to Ghana for his work, and he wanted to try it out there, and it worked really well. And this is in the United States. And this is in Kortenberg, is a small town near Brussels in Belgium. This actually is this room is a church. They use it for church service on Sunday morning, and on Sunday afternoon the repair cafe group comes in. And this is a picture from Poland. This is the 1-year celebration of the repair cafe in Piła, which is a small town in Poland. Now what strikes me in all these pictures is that around the world repair cafes look more or less the same. You see the concentration, you see people making a joint effort, you see gratitude, you see the fun they're having. And that makes me very happy, because apparently these people like doing this. And when people like doing something, they will probably want to go on doing it. And every now and then I try to measure the impact of repair cafe on the environment. And I use a calculation method, which, so this calculation method is based on the experience of the last years, that an average repair cafe group has 1 meeting per month, at which approximately 25 repairs are made. And of these 25 repairs, an average of 70% is successful. So that equates to 18 repaired products in an average repair cafe meeting. So with a total, the current total of 1,563 repair cafes, this equates to over 28,000 products per month. So that's 28,000 products that do not end up in landfills or incinerators, but can be used again. And in 1 year, that is 337,000 products by all the repair cafes in the world. Now, of course, those numbers are very nice. And when I started the repair cafe, I thought this is the solution to the problem of waste. But unfortunately, reality is a little more complicated, because many products have not been produced to be repaired. So they have been made to be used for a couple of years and then to be replaced entirely by something new. And repair is possible if you know what you're doing, but it is certainly not made easy. Like these guys, for instance, they are trying to remove a switch from this machine that they're trying to repair, but they're not succeeding. Maybe they need a special tool, but they don't have that. And they don't have a manual which tells them how they could remove it without breaking the product. And if they do break the switch, they don't have a replacement. So what I'm trying to say is repair is possible, but you're completely on your own. The manufacturer doesn't help you in many cases. Could help you by supplying a manual, a repair manual, by supplying spare parts, by telling you which tools you need, but in many cases the manufacturer doesn't do that. And we believe that manufacturers should do that. We believe that they should support repair in every possible way. And that's why we have started to collect repair data, because if we want to convince manufacturers that something needs to change, and if we want to convince politicians that the rules need to change, then we need data to prove it. So we need to prove that at the moment something is lacking. So that's why we've developed an online system called the Repair Monitor. Now it's an online system where repairers, repair cafe volunteers, can add information about the repairs that they carry out at the repair cafe. So the repairers can add to the system, they can fill out what kind of products they see at the repair cafe, what's wrong with them. So they can fill out what kind of products they repair, which brands, which problems they see. If they can answer the question if the product has been repaired, and if it was repaired, what did they repair? If it was not repaired, why couldn't they repair it? Now at the Repair Cafe Foundation, we collect all these data, and it enables us to draw overall conclusions from these data. And also, like for example, are there certain brands which are better repairable than other brands? Or is there something to say about common failures with certain products? For example, with a certain coffee machine, is it always the same part that breaks? So that's the thing, that's kind of information that we would like to find out, because that would enable us to approach politicians and approach manufacturers and tell them what exactly needs to change. Now the system is in the test phase at the moment. There are 22 repair cafes that are entering data into the system. And they have, until now, they have entered information on almost 6,000 repairs. And that leads to a top 10 of products which are brought into the repair cafe the most. But the number one product at the repair cafe is the coffee machine. And then number 2 is the bicycle, but that's because we are in Holland. Number 3 is the vacuum cleaner. And then we have the lamps, trousers, the sewing machine, the kettle for boiling water. So that's nice information, and it's also nice to see that from these products that are in the monitor right now, over 63% gets repaired at the repair cafe. And you can also try to look at the top 10 in another way. You can try to find which products get repaired at repair cafe with the most success. So that is the most successfully repaired products. In that case, the trousers are on top. 98% of the trousers repairs was successful. And on the number 2, there is the sewing machine, which was successful in 85% of the repair cases. Bicycle repairs were also very successful. And then lamps and vacuum cleaners, coffee machines, clocks, etc. Now these are the brands that are most seen at the repair cafe. You can probably, and then Sony, Tefal, Bosch, Samsung, Miele, HP, Gazelle, which is a bicycle brand, Braun and Nespresso. And when you rank these brands according to their success rate at the repair cafe, then the bicycle brand is on top, and then you get Miele, Philips and Bosch. So after the first there is the bicycle brand, and then there are some brands of small household appliances like the coffee machines, the toasters, the lamps. And at the bottom of the list are the brands which are electronics brands. So from this information you can conclude that bicycles are much more often successfully repaired at the repair cafe than small electronics. And this could indicate that small electronics are not so well repairable. So, and the data set is, at this moment, it's rather small, so we cannot draw very detailed conclusions. So when more people start to add the information, then the statistics will become more reliable and it will be better possible to approach manufacturers and politicians and to really do something about it. So we want to convince all the parties involved that something needs to change. So that's what we want to do in the future. We want to stimulate more repair cafes in more countries to start adding information to the repair monitor so that we can draw better conclusions. And so we can use this data to argue for better designed products and also for better regulation and also for more careful use by the consumer. For many people complain about manufacturers, but in many cases it's the consumer that creates the problem. So that's a nice result that we can tell from the repair monitor, that in many cases it's in fact the consumer, like for instance, he didn't decalcify the coffee machine, or he didn't clean a machine, or he did something else which is not supposed to happen with an object. So with all this we want to contribute to a more sustainable world with less waste and more repair skills and more fun. Now this is, there's a lot of work to do for us at the foundation, and our team is very small, so we are only we're taking small steps and our progress is slow as well. But we're very motivated, and even if the progress is slow, we still want to continue doing the work because we think it's worth it and we really want to contribute to a better future. And that's why I'm so happy to be here tonight, to see that you are all here together, and I hope that you are here to inspire each other to keep repairing and to contribute to this better future yourselves as well. And I think this is a wonderful occasion, and I would like to thank Claude and his team for organizing this, and you all for being here. Okay, that's it.